Good afternoon, guys, and welcome to another episode of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Bexon, coming to you, well, not live, but coming to you from Guanacaste, from Playa Grande, Guanacaste, just helping a client actually here who we ended up helping them buy a small rental property here and just working with them to kind of refurbish it. So that's why I'm here this week. And then also doing some stuff in Hacienda Pinilla, which is just south of Tamarindo. So a little bit all over the place. I think people are always shocked by how far I get over the country. And then next week, again, down in the Southern Pacific area, I'm actually looking at some land there for myself. So get around a bit. But anyway, so today we're going to be talking with Bob Brown. Bob is a veteran of luxury vacation rentals all throughout the Caribbean and also here in Costa Rica as well. So it's going to be really interesting talking to him, getting some information and also pointers on him for any of you guys looking to maximize rental revenue or developing a home here in Costa Rica, kind of what amenities, services to include, and also potentially including someone like himself or myself in the design process from the beginning, because depending on what it is that you're building, it's really important that you think about its functionality, especially as a rental home. If it's there for revenue, you need to kind of structure it a little bit more like a hotel. But if it's a home, of course, that'll be a little bit different. And you need to think about a little bit more about your exit plan, which not a lot of people think about when when actually buying. They think about getting in, but they don't think about the exit plan. But remember, you can email me info@investingcostarica.com, info@investingcostarica.com. But let's get straight into the podcast. Good afternoon, Bob. How are you doing?
Very good, Richard. Thanks for having me.
No, not at all. It's an absolute pleasure to have, I would say, such a veteran of the luxury villa world. I don't mean that from the point of view of being, I mean that from the point of view of your experience, sir. Maybe that wasn't the best word to use, but anyway.
No, thanks for clarifying that.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I mean, you've been in the luxury market for many, many years, Bob. But I mean, what's recently surprised you, and also what trends are you seeing, if you don't mind me asking?
No, that's a great question. I mean, I started out in the business where we didn't have the internet. We had catalogs. We had, you had to describe the villa. We didn't have high resolution photographs. We didn't have all that stuff. The internet came along and it totally transformed the industry. The big changes now are there are so many more destinations to choose from. There's so much inventory to consider that the conversion rates of the properties I represent around the globe they're so much lower than they were. They used to be the only place you could rent was the Caribbean or Europe. And all of a sudden now you can go to virtually any place in the world and rent a property. So that's made it extremely competitive because people are looking at a price for a house in Bali, looking for a house in Costa Rica, Mexico. They can do it with a click of a keyboard. Boom, boom, boom. And you only have them for a few seconds. The distribution channels have changed dramatically. And as you know, it's all about distribution. So having much more distributors, so much more inventory, so much more content out there. And then the quality of the knowledge of the people representing the villas, it's so diluted. Because they can't know all about these other destinations. They can't know the villas. They don't know. So the consumers that are very difficult to find a very knowledgeable individual. I mean, years ago, we spent tens of thousands of dollars of educating the villa rental specialists to go out, view the properties, inspect them, know them inside and out. They were drilled on them. We had training every week. Those, the individuals that worked for me had extreme knowledge, and that gave us extreme vote of confidence for the individual to go to that individual to rent because they wanted him to take the risk out of it. And that is not true anymore.
It's funny that you say that, just because we've seen a bit of a rise with travel agents after post-COVID, just because of that confusion of travel as well, on where you can go, what you can't, and also, travel agents to an extent take that risk out of it as well.
But that's the travel agents have just come on in the last few years. They've been totally out of the picture because they go, I'm selling my knowledge in the trust that you're going to protect me from a misadventure. And when the travel agency doesn't know the property, they're taking a huge risk. And if they can't get an immediate answer of the price and the confirmation, they're not going to bother. They'll suggest something else.
Definitely.
So, but the travel agents are finally discovering that a villa is a much more of a travel product now than it was ever. So
And there's more demand for it. And there's more
Yeah.
demand for it, you know. And I mean, COVID really put, you know, luxury
Right.
vacation rentals with hotel amenities on the map.
But it also changed the pricing structure, because now you have to include the travel agency as part of the commission structure.
Yep.
Because you got the distributor, you got the owner, the distributor,
Yep.
and the travel agent now. So
Everybody-
there's a layer.
Yes, definitely.
And that changes.
I mean, Bob, a lot of people listening to this podcast are looking to invest into rental properties, you know, and a lot of them, you know, or build them, especially luxury ones. I mean, what is your advice to them? Because again, I mean, you've been in the industry for such a long time. You've seen what worked and what doesn't. I mean, what advice would you give them?
If they have to really decide what their expectation is about, are they really going to rent it out, or are they just going to casually rent it out?
Yep.
The biggest mistake they make if they want to run it as a business is the layout, floor plan, and the design. And I can't tell you, I mean, I've worked with multiple owners in the Caribbean, Mexico, everywhere, and if they come to me at the initial design development, I can really help them.
Yep.
For example, some of the properties have a large master bedroom and much smaller other rooms. A lot of the villas are rented by couples. The ugly pillow talk is, why did we get the little room?
Yes.
Why did Joe and Mary get the master bedroom? I would say you want to have parity with every room. If you're going to rent it out seriously, make sure the biggest question people ask for is the view. You better have a spectacular view, and you better have an outrageous pool, and you better have parity in the bedrooms, meaning that every bedroom has to look and feel the same, so there's no ugly pillow talk, right? The beds have to be kings. They have to point towards the view. People want kings, they don't want queens, but the kings have to be able to be converted into twins. So the way the villa be laid out is they have to make the bedrooms have to be large enough to handle a king proportionally.
Yep.
The bathrooms have to be big. The bathrooms in the bedrooms have to be good with a good view. Those ingredients are critical. Outdoor showers are a huge plus. If you have every bedroom has an outdoor shower, it's a huge plus. It saves on cleaning expenses too. If you have that indoor-outdoor seamless transition, meaning that if I'm in the kitchen and I want to step outside to eat outside, I want that to be seamless. I want the space to be able to walk from the kitchen right out to eat outside.
Yep.
People like to go to Costa Rica, they want to be outside. They do not want to be inside.
Correct.
Okay. They want the air conditioning. They want separate zones for every bedroom. The people want to control the temperature in their room. Blackout curtains are important. You know, if you could, ideally, it's a U-shaped design, meaning that, like, if say you have a 4-bedroom on each, so you shape the U, and you've got bedroom, kitchen, sitting area, pool in the middle.
Yep.
So every bedroom's got a view. They all have access to the pool. And then if I'm in the kitchen, I can be cooking and looking out at the pool, but I can also be talking to someone sitting in by the pool. So I'm not out of the picture, meaning that I'm back doing all the legwork. So I'm sitting there stuck in the kitchen, everybody else is having fun, and I'm stuck back there. But if you make it an easy transition for everyone to go from one room to the other, it's ideal. The other thing is you have to have a fitness room. People today want fitness rooms, like a huge demand for fitness rooms. If you don't have that, it's going to be a well-stocked fitness room. And the pool area and the deck must have space where there's a covering to get out of the sun, to get out of the elements. If it's raining outside, they still want to be outside. If it's sunny as hell and they're sunburned to death, they still want to be outside. So you have to have a covering for them. Ideally, you'd have a refrigerator of some type close to the pool area with plenty of deck furniture. And I'm talking about high quality deck furniture, none of this plastic stuff. You got to have wooden, no stains on the cushions. And you got to have a refrigerator out there so people can easily access drinks or food, whatever, so they don't have to go schlepping all the way back. The fewer stairs you can have, the better. People hate stairs. They do not want to have that much effort to get around.
Yep.
So it's like those elements are critical, but it's like if you could And if you have the best place to invest your money is in the linens and the towels and the best mattresses you can find. If people don't sleep right, they're going to be ugly. And
Coffee and beds.
seriously, and the linens can't be tired. I suggested to owners that they have one mattress for the guests and one mattress for themselves.
Yep.
So you have a storage space that's, the owners need a storage space to put their stuff when they're not there. And a lot of the houses don't design for that.
Correct.
You've got to have the ability to put your stuff away. No personal stuff in the villa whatsoever. You got to keep that out of the loop. You got to have.
Nobody wants to be reminded that they're staying in someone's home.
Yeah, they want to feel connected to this house.
Yep.
If the house is how that makes them feel. They want to feel taller, they want to feel thinner, they want to feel sexier, they want to feel smarter, and they want to feel a lot more fun to be with. Yep. If the house doesn't make them feel that way, they'll never come back.
Yeah. I mean, I thought about it the other day, Bob. I was like this: people rent homes that they'd like to live in, that they dream of. People don't want to rent a home that's worse than the home that they currently live in. Like it's vacation.
Well, they don't want a house to even come close to looking like the one they live in.
Exactly.
They want to be seduced by this house.
Yep.
They want to take the risk of, oh, honey, I wish I could have designed my house like this, but I don't have the courage to do it.
Yep.
So you kind of live vicariously for that week or so in somebody else's house. You go, oh my God, this is fantastic.
But you don't want to be reminded it's someone else's house because there are photos everywhere.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the other thing the owners forget, it drives me absolutely crazy, Richard. They build these beautiful homes and then all of a sudden they don't put artwork up.
Yep.
It's like they can't just get over that. And what I've often encouraged them to do is use local artists, to have the local artists' art on the wall and allow the artists to sell it, have if they want to buy it. But that encourages participation of the local artist, and it keeps the house connected to where it is.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like so much of them forget it. They do. They get to the point where they go, I don't want to spend any more money. Yeah. And I go, oh, ouch. It becomes.
What about ultra high-end services that clients look for? I mean, we've talked a lot about structure, but what about the services?
Well, Cielo Mar, for example, we have a live-in, like I said, a live-in cook and a live-in maintenance person. They're a husband and wife team. They have their separate private quarters. That gives me a real sense of comfort knowing that they're there. Now they will be as visible or invisible as the guests want.
Yep.
Meaning that they'll customize the customer's visit. But that wasn't enough. I added a concierge to handle all the activities for the guests before and during their stay. We added extra servers to help with preparing the meals. We actually had extra housekeeping. And this year we actually added a butler, who's the main contact person for the house. So that if they go, oh, can you get me reservations here? Can you get me this activity? I'm having trouble with working the televisions, which is a huge thing.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's the biggest pain in the neck. It's like, oh, I can't get my television to work. How does this work? Or I can't get the music to work. Blah, blah, blah. How do I make a phone call? All these little things that the people get confused by. The butler is there to make them at ease, and it's been a well overdue. Now, what's interesting enough, Richard, is that Barbados has that same level of service, which Americans love when they get there, but they're reluctant about it in the beginning because they go, oh, these people are going to be, invading my privacy. But once they see their laundry's done from the day before and folded on their bed, they go, whoa! I mean, in their meals are there.
It's basically a vacation rental with hotel amenities and service. You're staying in a hotel. It's just your hotel.
Right. But you have these wonderful people,
correct,
who protect you. Now, but on the flip side, St. Bart's, which I've been working with forever, they don't have they do not have cooks. You can have a cook come in, you can have service come in, but the villas do not, as a rule, have services like that.
Wow.
Now, the reason is, honestly, is because people who go to St. Bart's, they all want to go out to eat.
Yeah.
They don't want to eat at the property. They want great kitchens, but they don't go out to eat. They want to go out and they want to go out and try all the restaurants because that's what they go for, because the food's fabulous.
Yeah.
Whereas, so there's no need to have a cook. You can have
No, I mean, I think that's a great point. I mean, especially in some areas of Costa Rica, there aren't tons of choices of restaurants as well. So,
right.
I was having a discussion with someone the other day because I'm helping them do a feasibility study for a 12-bedroom beachfront home here in Costa Rica. And they were talking about weddings. And I said, look, guys, if you're going to do weddings, you're probably going to need a back of house kitchen because nobody wants to watch you doing all that preparation out there in the main kitchen of the home. Like half the time that's just there for show.
That's right.
And I think that's one thing that, again, it goes back to your point of, are you building this as income generating, or are you building this to kind of like enjoy and maybe do some rentals, or just to enjoy yourselves? Because the design is going to be completely different.
Absolutely. If they don't get that, you got a problem.
And I think that's the question you need to ask. Is this lifestyle or is this investment? If it's in the middle, then like design it maybe more towards lifestyle. But if it's about investment and generating returns, then it's built typically with the flow of a hotel where the back office stuff does not touch the front of house.
Right. I mean, I keep track of the data I've had over the years, what size villas rent out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bedrooms. What are the features that one villa has that the others don't, that causes it to be more, villa rental friendly?
Yep.
And often I would go down in like St. Bart's, we had 400 villas that we were working with. And I have these owners meetings and they would all want to know why their villa wasn't rented, because that's what everybody wants to know,
Yep.
Some of the villas I could only generate 6 weeks a year. Some of them were generating 30 weeks a year. Some of the average owner was looking for around 16 weeks a year.
Yep.
And so you sit there. And so the biggest struggle I had was, and how it all got started, Richard, was the real estate companies originally wanted to sell a property. So then the potential buyer goes and looks at the villa and goes, okay, how much does it cost? Then the potential owner says, well, how much are the operating costs?
Yep.
How much is the property maintenance cost? And then he goes, whoa, wow, that's a lot of money. And then so the real estate guy says, well, you can rent it out and offset that.
Yep.
And he goes, well, how many weeks should I get? And then the real estate guy goes, he might say, oh, you can get 20 weeks or whatever.
Of course.
He just throws that number
He doesn't
out.
need to do the work to get those weeks.
Right. He just tells the guy that, right? So then my responsibility is, oh, the owner, yeah, okay, I've got your villa. And he goes, wait a minute, I was a year's gone by and I only have, 7 weeks. What's your problem? I was told to get 20. I go, whoa, who told you 20? I said, there are, 75 other 2-bedroom homes that are like yours. Those have to fill up before yours will get picked because these are the shortcomings. And he'll go, well, why didn't you tell me that? And I go, I wasn't involved in the sale.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I spend a lot of time in the sale process now, Bob, just because, again, I can't remember what the figure was, but I know that 3 bedrooms or less in Costa Rica is 75% of all inventory. So 4 bedrooms and more is 25%. And once you start getting into the 6, 7, I mean, you move into rarefied air.
That's right. And the larger ones are very difficult to rent. The only real demand they have is at the holiday period where you've got extended families all want to be under the same roof. Like, for example, and the other problem you have is, the problem I have with Cielo Mar, for example, is I'll have one family that'll go, oh, I want to rent Cielo Mar, but we've got our friends want to rent a house nearby. It's similar to it. Do you have one that's right nearby? And I go, oh. And so they go, oh, the other one is way away. And I go, we don't want that. So I call it bookends. I need a bookends. I need villas that are comparable because nobody wants to drive up to your villa and say, whoa, yours is so much better than mine.
Yes.
And that's a problem. On St. Martin, for example, I worked for years with a developer who we had. He developed the French side very smartly, and Bay Rouge Beach, which is where all the high-end villas are. We had two bookend villas, one at each end, and they were both, one was very contemporary, one was more traditional, but we had those there so that the person could say, oh, I'm staying in L'Oasis and and the other family staying in La Rev. So it's like, okay, we're good.
Yep.
But we had villas all in between that were fairly comparable, not quite that level, but not so much below it that you were being embarrassed.
Yeah.
So the more villas that are like Cielo Mar or the high end that are nearby, you're better off you are. Because right now, the biggest struggle I have with Costa Rica, Richard, is that the distributors, the travel agencies know nothing about Costa Rica. Yep. They know zero. The last 9 years, I spent half my time. How do I get there? What do I do when I get there? What is Peninsula Papagayo? What can I do? Blah, blah, blah. It's like I spent all my time.
I mean, the good thing about the pandemic is, I mean, it really put Costa Rica on the map as well. I mean, it was busy before, but it's really so much busier now. But it's funny you you were mentioning that about like comparable homes, just because I spent the day today driving around Hacienda Pinilla, which is just south of Tamarindo, just because I'm helping some clients build a basically $3 million home there, a couple of steps from the ocean. And we were driving around in Los Golondrinos, which is a development there, and also Reserva Golf. And it's just amazing the variety of homes. I mean, you see homes that are $3, $4, $5 million, and then next to it something that you'd be like, wow, that thing must be worth like 300, 400,000,
Right.
And I mean,
that's a problem.
That is a problem.
That's a huge problem.
I
mean, because people like to be around likes. And whether we want to admit that or not, it's the truth. And a lot of destinations that I've been covering over the years, it's about bragging rights. It's like, first of all, the destination has to sell first. Then the neighborhood or region within that destination has to sell second.
Yep.
And then the third thing is the villa. So once the villa has been decided, it's called bragging rights. It's not about going to Costa Rica. It's about what villa you're going to stay in.
Correct.
So that becomes the other places that are much more mature with the villa rental business. It's really about what villa you're renting. If you take St. Bart's, for example, or St. Martin or Anguilla, or you take Turks and Caicos, it's come on really strong. It used to be basically a condo destination, and now it's really become villa. But the nonstop flights have made it very, very attractive. Costa Rica from New York, JetBlue's been good to get service there, but most of my arrivals this past year for Cielo Mar have all been private jets.
Yeah. What's your viewpoint on Costa Rica comparatively to these other areas, Bob? Because I mean, it's typically the people that I talk to are usually here in Costa Rica and very insulated here, but you have a very wide viewpoint, especially on some very developed, Caribbean destinations. I mean, where do you see Costa Rica, and where do you think it may potentially go?
I look at Costa Rica as a destination for the adventure seeker,
right.
who's willing to take a bigger risk, who doesn't just want to go lay on a beach and do nothing, that's willing to explore and see, a country that has not been overdeveloped, that has not, been disrespectful to everything.
Yep.
That the infrastructure is getting there, is better.
Yep.
But it's really about the guy,
It's raw. It's raw.
Yeah, that's a great word. It's raw. It's real.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of other destinations are really synthetic.
Yep.
They're like they make, these people I'm taking down on Saturday, I go, look, this is not about you going to have a 5-star, the cook at Cielo Mar is not a 5-star gourmet French cook like you'd find in Grand Cas and St. Martin or St. Tropez. This cook is going to cook you local foods that are, that
real food.
Real foods.
Yes.
So don't go thinking that you're going to have some, and so the people that want to engage in that type, that's what it's for.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Like I do a lot of St. Bart's business over the years, and I don't get a lot of St. Bart's people willing to go to Costa Rica. They just don't.
Yeah.
They want to go, they're foodies and they want to be seen and they want to be that whole crowd. Mexico has been a really tough competition for me in terms of like, I'll go to people, well, I try to push Costa Rica and Cielo Mar and Peninsula Papagayo, and I'm up against Mexico. Mexico seems to be, they're much more knowledgeable. Oh, I'll go to Cancun, or,
Yep.
It's like, that's because they don't have knowledge. And
Sure.
and I honestly feel, I told Michael at Cielo Mar, I said, Peninsula Papagayo has not done, in my opinion, a great job of promoting Peninsula Papagayo, because it is kind of that, does have that fluff that people are looking for.
Exclusive.
That has the safety. It's got the marina. It's got the golf course. It's
some of the best beaches in the country. I mean, it's exclusive.
Yeah. So it doesn't. It's like they're not going to go, rough it with a black and white TV. You know what I mean? But so it's like, but I'm really disappointed in Peninsula Papagayo that they haven't really pushed it, because the people I talk, what is this Peninsula Papagayo thing? I say that because that's my biggest challenge. I
completely get it. I mean, and Costa Rica is kind of somewhat of a new destination. I mean, it's really come on in the past 20 years, but I mean, as you said it's not overbuilt. It's real, it's raw, it's authentic, and the people are amazing.
Yeah, the people I've met have been so nice. It's also been a problem for me because when you have staff, Richard, the staff determines the personality and spirit of the property.
Correct.
And if the staff, Americans that have been most of my clients, they want the staff to be more outgoing. They want to be more engaged with their family. They want them to welcome them with open arms. How are you doing? Love you. This whole thing. And the Cielo Mar staff, they're wonderful people. I love them, but they've been kind of standoffish because they don't want to cross that line.
Yeah, I mean, and people are like that here. I mean, it's I always say Costa Ricans are very friendly, but to go very deep with Costa Ricans takes a long time. Whereas us in the Western world, it takes a while to get kind of friendly, but you get to be good friends really quickly.
Right. So it's been a challenge for me to try to work. And then one of the reasons I'm going down to see the staff again is I give them all these things about, here's how you greet a client. This is what you do. Be proactive. Don't wait for them to ask you for something. Look around and look to see whether they'll need it rather than wait for it. So it's like, and that's a totally new thing for them. They don't want to be intrusive. They don't want to, just be in the way of the guests. And I go, no. You got to be proactive. You got to say, oh, that glass is empty. Would you like some more? Don't touch this, don't touch that. You got to be, because when they pay the premium, what they're paying for Cielo Mar, they expect, 5-star service.
Correct. But with local food. Well, Bob, I mean, this has been amazing, but let me just ask you my last question for you. Yeah. If you inherited $500,000 and had to invest it into a business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you do with it?
Great question.
Beyond give it to me to invest for you, of course, but beyond that, it's amazing the people that contact me. Hey, Rich, can I give you X amount of money and you invest it for me? I'm like, guys, that's not what I do. I don't run an investment fund.
First of all, if you say, would I buy a property as an investment to rent it out? I've learned over the years that most people who rent out a property barely cover their operating costs.
Yep.
Okay.
Unless they really know what they're doing and they're not using a property management company.
Right. Now, my success story is a property I've been working with since the original design, development, and build. The owners and the architects got me involved right away.
Yep.
Right away. It wasn't like, oh, this is what we wanted, blah, blah, blah. They said, we want you to help us design this property so it will be run as a business. We are not going to be using it. We're looking at investing it, because what we want to do is we want to build it, rent it out. We want to make money on it. We
Yep.
want to take the money, put it back into the villa, and then we want to be able to sell it for more because it has a great track record. Okay. Now, for the last I don't know how many years it's been, 2007 to 2021, $10 million in short-term rentals.
Oh, wow.
But that took, I build the website for the homes. Like, as you know, with Cielo Mar, I build the websites. I do everything for this guy.
Yep. I mean, we've done it at Villa Buena Onda, and I mean,
I told him, you need this for the bedrooms. You need like simple things like the gas grill. I do not want canisters for the gas grill. I want the line from the kitchen to go out to the gas grill on the deck, so that we never run out of gas.
Yep.
I want this, I want this, I want this, I want this, and this is what you're going to charge. I do a complete history of the price points of the villas that he competes with.
Yep.
And I exhaust everything, Richard, to get repeat clients. The house was filled with repeat clients all the time.
That's a testament to how great a service and product it is.
Exactly. The repeat, if you have no repeat business in your villa, you got a problem.
Yes.
And I actually put a closet in for a repeat client. I left gave him a key, left all of his stuff there. So when he traveled, he had a little carry-on bag, and he would just arrive. All of his clothes we put in the closet, all of his leftover liquor we put in the kitchen, and he had every little thing he needed. All the his toiletries, everything was all his. It was like he never left. Wow. And that got him back all the time. But I also made him feel that it was his house. So you say to me, what would I do to Costa Rica? I think one of the challenges that Costa Rica has is, and it's going to be badly needed, is the infrastructure for the rental programs. Meaning that who's going to manage the property? Who's going to handle the clients when they're there? Who's going to be to make sure the house has proper landscaping, the pool, everything's working, the refrigerator, it's painted, all this sort of stuff. Because most of the other destinations I've worked have had all that in place. Yeah. So it's like, and then the other question, so I sit there and saying, if you're going to have a bunch of villas in a particular area that you're going to try to rent out, or you're telling owners, if you invite here, you better have an infrastructure in place that can support the rental program. So if you said to me, where would I put the money? I would put the money into a support structure for those rentals.
Well, and I think it's interesting you say that, because again, I'm constantly being asked to property manage properties here in Costa Rica, which is not really what I do. It's just, again, I have experience doing it, but having a really high-end property management company here, because there aren't that many high-end ones.
No, they're virtually
non-existent. Yeah,
I mean, and that's a problem for future. Yeah, because it takes a lot of training and staff to be able to be proactive, to get to look. It's like we had 70 villas in a location, and I set up a quality control program where the maintenance guy had to go in before every arrival and after departure of everyone, and once a month he had to go in. And we had once a month checkoff list, a quarterly checkoff list, and a checkoff list before they arrived and after they left. And the housekeeping and the maintenance guy had to both sign off on it that this is what the condition of it was. You see, Richard, there's no quality controls on properties. There are none out there. There's no terms and conditions on what you should expect. There's no minimum standards. There's no rating system. Every villa or every condo has its own brand, and that's a problem. Yeah. The biggest problem I see is that if you're going to be like the company I worked with for so many years, Seabarth on St. Bart's, they were known as a go-to place. If you wanted a villa that was going to be well represented, well taken care of, it was the best of the best, you went to Seabarth. That isn't available in Costa Rica. Okay, that if there was I used to have, if there was a problem with the villa for whatever reason, like the electricity went down, the refrigerator had an issue, and I couldn't get it fixed, I would move them to another villa. Yep. I would just say, okay, don't worry, we're going to put you in another villa of equal or better value. It's not going to cost you anything. We're just going to move you. We're not going to disrupt your rentals. So we would move them. That's not what we wanted to do, but if we had to, we could. A good property management company will be able to do that because you will have problems.
Right.
You're going to have them. Some of them are going to be way beyond your control.
Yep.
So that's the other thing is, if I was a property management company, I would have control of the calendars of these homes, meaning that your staff called me yesterday for Cielo Mar for July, and I control the calendar. I can give it, but if your staff had to control the calendar themselves,
oh yeah, it'd be a nightmare. It'd be a nightmare.
No. What I'm saying,
I mean with us, like it's going to one person to have access to that calendar, to be like, okay, like what's available and what's not is great, but when it's all very confusing and you don't have that, it's a nightmare.
Right. So what I'm saying is that if you ran a property management company, you'd say to the owners, look, I'm going to control your calendar.
Correct.
Okay. So I've got this property management company. I control the maintenance. I control everything about it. And then when people want to know, is the house available or not? I know yes or no, like that. I mean, at St. Bart's, we controlled 175 calendars.
Wow.
And the bookings went up tenfold for those because the agents could go, yep, It's available. I can confirm it right now.
Instant.
It's instant.
Correct.
Instant. So if you say to me, if I had $500,000, would I invest in a property?
You'd start a high-end property management company.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I would need to have those properties within close proximity of each other.
Yeah.
Because I can't send maintenance guys driving 20 million miles. So
of course.
So it's, I want them no more than 15 minutes away. So I don't care whether it's 5 villas or 4 or whatever, you start off that way. And if it's successful, you run it smoothly, your people will beg you to manage the villa on all aspects.
Well, Bob, this has been an amazing conversation. I really, really appreciate you coming on here and really sharing your experience. I'm going to put all your contact details and also Cielo Mar's website details in the description here. So, I mean, it really is a very unique location in Costa Rica, but a very unique property that is very, very high end and high touch that, again, not a lot of properties do here. So I'll put all that in there. But Bob, thank you very, very much for your time.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's building another one, by the way.
Oh, wow. Well, then if you have friends, they can live next door.
No, but I mean, seriously, if you come across owners that want some feedback from that's if I can help you with owners before they start making the investment, either buying one or building one.
Yep.
The two of us would be, that's a great formula, because I had a guy who bought a villa and it did very poorly.
Yep.
And he wanted to chew my ear off because he goes, the sales guy told me blah, 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 blah. And all last year you gave me nothing. You gave me like 2 bookings. And I went to him, I said, I looked at the property and I said, I wish you had talked to me before you bought it. And he goes, why is that? I said, your villa is not for short term. It's a long-term property. It's not short term, it's vertical. And he goes, what? I go, it's not. And I gave him all the reasons in the world, laid it out for him. He says, so what should I do? I said, you got 2 choices. You rent it out long term or sell it.
Yep.
So he goes, I'm going to sell it. And I'm going to come after you to go buy the one that we really want. And that's what we did.
Good for you. Good for
you. But I
mean,
because I go, I'd rather have you be mad at me in the beginning by telling you something than mad at me later.
Yep. 100%.
Because then I have no value. If I just kiss up to you and make all these false promises, you're going to be furious with me.
I agree.
I mean, I did a project on Virgin Gorda where these guys were designing 37 properties there, and they already had them designed. And the developer said, can you talk to these architects to make sure we're okay with rentals? And I looked at the drawing, and I went, you're screwed. These houses are not even close to being rental friendly.
Wow.
So these architects were from Denver, Colorado, designing villas for the island of Virgin Gorda with the British.
Hire locals for that stuff. You need the local knowledge.
I go, no. And so the architects were ready to kill me. Seriously.
I'm sure.
They were, I go, no, this doesn't work.
Wow.
I said, you want me to tell you? I'll tell you the truth. What comes to me? Say, yeah. So they had to totally redesign all of them.
Wow.
But I go, you're better off doing that now than trying to overcome those sales challenges later.
Definitely. Well, Bob, this, as I said, this has been amazing. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you're a busy man. And maybe again, in another podcast, we'll get you back on.
I'm here to help you, Richard.
Sounds good, Bob. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. See you.
Hey guys, amazing podcast there with Bob. Of course, Bob has a immense amount of knowledge here when it comes to building, developing, and operating vacation rentals in probably more mature more mature destinations than Costa Rica. You know, and I think we need to leverage some of that knowledge and also experience there when applying to Costa Rica. I mean, I think the one thing that Costa Rica has is that raw authenticity. You know, it is real from the people here to just everything that you see around it. You know, it hasn't been overdeveloped. You know, and I don't think it ever will be. Just the environmental zoning standards here, and also just the infrastructure here just doesn't make stuff move as quickly. So, I mean, I think that's the beauty of Costa Rica, which I think is why it's going to make a good investment, because I think people are looking for that, you know, authenticity in today's world, because it's just very difficult to get. But anyway, anyone that wants to reach out to us can, info@investingcostarica.com, investingplural.com. And I will look forward to speaking with you guys on the next podcast. Bye.